Well, hello and welcome to another Substack Live session on Saturday. I'm really delighted about doing this morning's sessions because I've been reflecting on a lot of things over the week. And even though today is a perfect day for getting out into the garden, which is something I love to do on a Saturday, uh, I made sure that I made time for this before I got on my gardening clothes and got into the dirt. Now, that doesn't mean that I haven't done my morning awe and wonder walk, which is increasingly, particularly over the summer, a part of what I do. It's just a couple of minutes that I take to really reflect on the garden, the beauty of it. This morning I was looking at all the insects that are landing on the flowers, and the variety of them was just incredible. But there'll be more of that, of course, coming over the next few weeks. But I was also looking back over this last week and the things that I have learned from your comments, your interaction with my post, The Tree of Life, and the walking barefoot as a prayer exercise. And you have no idea how much I appreciate your feedback or your comments and the sense that I am part of a community of which you are also a part. Because to me, the greatest value of learning is that it's a two-way process. I am not here to be your teacher, and you are the person that is sitting at my feet and learning, but we are teaching each other. And I think that there is a much deeper level of learning when we recognize that we are indeed part of a community that teaches each other. So that's part of what I've really appreciated in this. And of course, there is the added value that it does give me more material from which I can draw my posts. But this week, um, my Tree of Life reflection led me to the discovery of the Disney World sculpture by that name, which, if you have not seen it, is worth looking at. It's this sculpture of a huge baobab tree. And then it's got animals and birds and all kinds of things carved into it. I thought, what a beautiful representation of the Tree of Life, and lots to reflect on there. But also, I've been introduced to Clint Gustav's paintings of trees. And he does have one called The Tree of Life, but all of his paintings of trees are well worth looking at as representations in different ways of the Tree of Life. And then thirdly, somebody introduced me to a Tree of Life workshop curriculum, which I am still looking into because I think, again, it is something that is helping me to reflect and helping me to think about where I want to go with this research into the Tree of Life. And then came my talk on barefoot walking, not just barefoot walking, but an exercise of prayer in barefoot walking. Great feedback again. Thank you so much for that and for all that I have learned. But for me, I must confess, was the gem of learning about Macrina, and I'm probably going to butcher her name here, I'm sorry, Macrina Wiederkehr, and this wonderful book, Seasons of Your Heart, which, as you can see, I immediately went out and ordered because it was at a good value that I could get it. And boy, what a lovely little book. And on several levels. Firstly, because the whole first section about it is on the season of wonder. And to be honest, in many ways, the season of wonder is something that I live in a lot of the time. But she talks about the season of wonder as the season to take off your shoes and walk barefoot. And I thought, wow, so that is giving me a beautiful new way of looking at this. And I want to read out this morning some of what she says, just one of the short reflections in the prayer that the person that made me aware of this book actually mentioned to me. And this reflection is called Child of Wonder. Praise Yahweh, my soul. I will praise Yahweh all my life. I will make music to my God as long as I live. To be this child of wonder, we must learn to take off our shoes often. Taking off your shoes is a sacred ritual. It is a hallowed moment of remembering the goodness of both space and time. It is a way of celebrating the holy ground on which you stand. If you want to be a child of wonder, cherish the truth that both time and space are holy. Whether you take off your shoes symbolically or literally matters little. What is important that you are alive to the holy ground on which you stand and to the holy ground that you are. Isn't that powerful? And here's the prayer poem that she has attached to this, which every bit as powerful and which I have been reading over and over in the last couple of days. My bare feet walk the earth reverently, for everything keeps crying, take off your shoes. The ground you stand on is holy. The ground of your being is holy. When the wind sings through the pines like a breath of God, awakening you to the sacred presence, calling your soul to new insights, take off your shoes. When the sun rises above your rooftop, coloring your world with dawn, be receptive to this awesome beauty. Put on your garments of adoration. Take off your shoes. When the red maple drops its last leaf of summer, wearing its burning bush robes no longer, read between its barren branches and take off your shoes. When sorrow presses close to your heart, begging you to put your trust in God alone, filling you with a quiet knowing that God's hand is not too short to heal you, take off your shoes. When a new person comes into your life, like a mystery about to unfold, and you find yourself marveling over the frailty and splendor of every human being, take off your shoes. When, during the wee hours of the night, you drive slowly into the new day, and the morning's fog, like angel wings, hovers mysteriously above you, take off your shoes. Take off your shoes of distraction. Take off your shoes of ignorance and blindness. Take off your shoes of hurry and worry. Take off anything that prevents you from being a child of wonder. Take off your shoes. The ground you stand on is holy. The ground you are is holy. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't it absolutely and utterly beautiful and so much to reflect on? And so as I go out into the garden today, I am figuratively, because working in the garden in bare feet is not the way I like to do it, but I'm going to figuratively take off my shoes and recognize the sacredness of the ground in which I'm in and return to that state of wonder again. And as I was thinking about this morning, I thought, wow, how different would our world be if we could live in the wonder of the child that God has made us to be? How beautiful would this world become? How much less violence would there be? How much less war would there be? How much less stress and how much less hunger? How much less discord between people of different cultures and different sexual orientations? How much more harmony would there be in this world if we learned to live as children of wonder who walk barefoot on this ground, recognizing the sacredness of everything and recognizing the sacredness of ourselves and the sacredness of every other human being and, in fact, of every other creature in the world as well. So I know some of you it's not morning for, but maybe this is a reflection to take with you as you go to bed. Maybe it's something to think about. And I pray that you will take off your shoes, figuratively or in truth, and become once more or a child of wonder. Amen.